Hey everybody, it's Dr. Bradshaw with Wilmington Functional Medicine. And as you can tell, today we're talking about sleep and how sleep hygiene is a major contributor to your health. And if you are new to functional medicine and you're looking to recover from a condition or multiple conditions, this video might be the most important video you ever watch. Sleep is the best medicine. That is an old adage and a completely true and accurate adage. No food, no supplement, no medication. There's no perfect diet that can undo a lack of good sleep. All right. So you think all the work that you do during the day, at night you got to be able to recover to go and do all that work you're going to do tomorrow. And I'm not talking about working at your job, working in the yard. I'm talking about the things you never even think about. Your neurological system, your brain talking to the rest of the body. Your lymphatic system, your lymphatics and your detoxification system is getting rid of junk that you consume. Your basic digestive system, your endocrine system, your hormonal system, I should say, your circulatory system, your breathing apparatus, like all these things that our body does every day. You need energy for that. And if you're getting less sleep every night, your energy depletion continues on day after week after month after year, and pretty soon you can't do anything besides just sit there and suffer as your body goes downhill, as multiple systems continue to run out of energy. You can't recover. You will never get the full results with this program unless you do this well, which is sleep. Okay, it is the foundation of everything that we're trying to do with you. All of the proper lifestyle, diet, supplements, exercise, all this jazz, it all helps, but only if you have the proper foundation. It means you're getting sleep at night. All right, so I hope you brought your notepad. We got a lot to talk about. Okay, first and foremost, we're going to talk about the things that you can do pre going to sleep that'll help you stay asleep. All right, now we know that it's basically 7 to 9 hours. That range is pretty ideal for how much hours you need per night. You might have a night though where you get 6 hours of sleep, right? So the next night after that, you might get 10 or 10 and a half. Research is showing that you can actually build up reserves, if you will, by going to sleep and getting extra sleep one night if you know that the next night you're going to be depleted 5 or 6 hours. So it's important to know that just because you have one bad night of sleep does not mean that your rest of your week is ruined. But you got to make up for it the next night. You can't go the next night after 5 hours sleep to get 5 more hours of sleep. You're not going to recover. You're just not. And you're going to feel yucky. And a lot of the things that you're dealing with right now are going to get worse, whatever conditions you're dealing with. All right? So 7 to 9 hours of sleep. So the first thing you're going to do while watching this video is you're going to write down your time. All right? So if you have work in the morning and you know you need to be up by 6:30 in the morning, then you're going to make a time, whatever that is. If you want 8 hours, you want 7.5 hours, whatever that needs to be, you're going to make that time your time. So in this case, for me, I have to be up at 6 in the morning. So for me, I need to be in bed by 10:30, period. If I don't, then I'm going to suffer because I know I have to get up. So the longer it takes me to get to sleep, the less time I am going to sleep. So you need to know your time and stick to your time. This is important because a lot of you have partners, people you live with. They need to respect your time. It's important that you get your sleep. All right? You're trying to recover from something, you need to get your sleep. So figure out your time, whatever that's going to be. I usually recommend 7.5 to 8 hours prior to waking up. That's when you're going to go to bed. Okay? That's an important time period. So we know we're going to wake up in about 7.5, 8 hours. But now, 2 hours before going to bed, there's some things you need to do, okay? Number one, you're going to stop eating prior to going to bed. Nothing. You're not going to eat anything. You can drink water. If you want to drink a little bit of a sleep aid in the form of tea, warm tea, hot tea, that's fine. No food. So if your time is 10:30, at 8:30 you're done eating. That's it, all right? If you're eating a bunch of stuff in that time period, you can become hypoglycemic while you sleep, and that can trigger an insulin spike in your blood and in your brain, and next thing you know, you're waking up and you're hungry or your mind is racing and all that jazz, okay? So 2 hours before bed, no eating. okay? Another thing, 2 hours before bed, no blue light, all right? So that means that the handheld devices we have, our phones, our iPads, our computers, they have a blue light coming off of them. You need those blue blocker glasses if you're going to be staying on your desktop or on your handheld devices. There's blue filters that you can use, so that way for the last 2 hours before bed, you actually don't have that specific blue light that stimulates that part of your brain that makes it wired, that makes it run, that makes it stimulate. Very important, okay? I recommend you get off your devices 2 hours prior to bed. I understand we all have lives, I get it, but you gotta block that blue light. Otherwise you're just stimulating your brain while you're trying to go to sleep. It's not gonna work. All right. As well, you definitely do not want to use tobacco. If you are struggling with sleep and you use tobacco, I can't help you. You must find a way to get off tobacco altogether. Cigarettes, chew, vaping, whatever it is, you have to get rid of tobacco, and in particular, nicotine. It is a stimulant. It will wire your brain. Even if you smoke at 6 a.m., by the time you go to bed, that is still in your system. It takes a while for nicotine to get out of your system. It's in your brain. It will fire up. It will wake you up. Get rid of it. Okay? That's important. Make sure as well that you reduce your stress. Now, that's different for everybody. All right? For some people, before going to bed, it's good to take a warm Epsom salt bath or a warm lavender bath to calm everything down, get everything just to level down a few notches from the day's stress. Sometimes that works really well for people. Sometimes it's really good to just sit in a quiet room, listen to, we all have our devices. You can just put on some meditative music, some very quiet, calming music for just 10 minutes. That's all you need to do. Just sit quiet for 10 minutes before you go to bed. That can be really helpful as well. We'll talk about posture when you're sleeping in just a moment, but something that I do, because the body, as we are in gravity during the day, our body, the joints, especially the disc in our spine, get compressed, right? And so what I do is I have an inversion table. An inversion table is where you go, not completely upside down, but maybe like 45 degrees. So with my head here, my feet up here, for about 5 minutes, and I hang like this for 5 minutes, listening to that meditative music I was talking about before. I do it in a dark room. I hang like this. And this lets all the blood flow kind of come out of my feet and my legs. It also stretches out those joints in my neck and my back before going to bed. It kind of just takes the things that we compressed all day and it stretches them back out. That can just help you sleep better at night so you don't have joint pain when you're sleeping. What else? Oh, in terms of coffee. I'm sure many of you enjoy your coffee. Do not drink coffee after 2 p.m. I recommend if you're trying to get good sleep, you get off of coffee altogether. You find other ways to boost your energy during the day, and I think as you go through this plan, this functional medicine treatment plan, you will find you don't need coffee. As you detox, get your body's energy systems working properly, you fix your diet, and you're utilizing the energy that you're putting in as proper energy for the rest of your body, you won't need coffee. But for now, I understand as you're starting to learn functional medicine and how your body is moving forward, trying to get healthy, you might need to have some. Totally get it. Not after 2 p.m. 2 p.m. is the cutoff line. No more. Otherwise, that will run you into a stimulation setting when you go to bed. It will wake you up. It's a problem, okay? So no caffeine after 2 p.m. Also recommend that if you have any sort of habits before bed that include stressful things, like, I don't know what it is, like you're going to talk with your teenage kid, have that talk well before bed. If you're going to have a talk with your spouse, having some financial struggles, whatever, you need to have that talk well before bed. Don't wait till right before bed. It's usually best to do it at least 2 hours before you go to bed. Like we talked about earlier with your food, making sure that you don't eat after 8:30. In this case, don't have that talk after 8:30. Have that talk beforehand. Get it done. Let your body calm down. One more thing I want to mention that also helps bring the body's stimulation, particularly brain stimulation, down, is at night, or in the evening, excuse me, right before it gets dark. There's about a 1 hour window where it's called dusk. And if you can walk around outside, not in your house with the windows open, but literally outside, and just get some of that dusk sunshine into your eyeballs, it fires up the cones and receptors, special receptors in your eyes that stimulate the part of your brain that needs to sleep. All right, it's great if you can do it in the morning too, because it helps you wake up in just the opposite way in the morning. And in the evening, it helps de-stimulate the brain, so that way you can sleep well at night. So if you can do that as well, that's a great habit to get into. Other things you can do: make sure that if you drink alcohol, that you don't have any more than 2 drinks in a given day, and you stop again whenever your time is. So if your time is 10:30, no alcohol 2 hours prior to that time going to bed. So if you've had alcohol that day, no more than 2 drinks, and make sure that 2 hours before bed, you're done taking alcohol or done consuming alcohol. That's important, okay? Another thing that you can do is before bed, you can do a negative thought purge. Life can be stressful. We know this, right? And it can build, and it can build, and it can build. Next thing you know, you're blowing your top, and it's hard to keep your mind from racing when that's going on, right? There's a mental part of sleeping as well. You can do what I do is called a negative thought purge. I take out my notebook, and I just start writing down my negative thoughts in the day. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Only you are going to see this. So I usually slide it underneath my mattress on my bed at home. And when I need to, before bed, I need to just hash some stuff out, and I just start writing about my landlord, or about my spouse, or about my jerk friend, or whatever, about the guy at the gas station, whatever it might be, the government, taxes, the weather, whatever, economy. Write it down. Just get it out. La 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 la. Blah. Just vomit it onto the page. Okay, that can be really helpful as well. All right, let's talk about the actual setup you have at home. Okay, because that's important too. Number one, you want to make sure you have a good mattress, right? The only time I've ever had consistent back pain in my life, I was in college. I had just a hand-me-down bed. Who knows how many people had owned that bed before me. And it was like a taco. If you look at it from the bottom to the top, it looked like this, right? And I kept thinking, God, what is wrong with my back? Graduated from college, got rid of that bed. As soon as I left and went on with the next stage of my life, back pain completely went away. So make sure you have a good mattress. I prefer the Sleep Number beds. There are all kinds of beds out there. The one that I've had the best experience with, I've had mine for now 13 years. The one I've had a Sleep Number prior to that for another 12, so for about basically since I graduated from college that I mentioned earlier, that I've only owned Sleep Number beds, and they are amazing. Especially if you have a partner who likes their bed soft and you like your bed a little firmer, you can set your beds for what you want so that they can have what they need and you can have what you need, and it's perfect. So just keep that in mind. But yes, get a good mattress, okay? Number two, you want to make sure that there is complete darkness in the room. Now, for some people it's a challenge. You can see these blinds behind you. These are not great. Unless I take those down and put up a dark curtain, right? Or black shades, I think they're called, then it's going to be hard in the morning when the sun comes up to keep sleeping if I need to sleep till, say, 8 a.m. So I recommend you get one of those eye patches, right? Get on an eye patch, just put it right over your eyeballs. Very cheap alternative to changing out your blinds, okay? Look around your room, all right? Some of our electronic devices, like a television, if you have a TV in your room, they have little lights that are coming off of it, even when it's turned off. Put a black piece of tape, like electrical tape, over that. If you have an alarm clock that's shining the bright digital lights at you, turn it over so it's facing down into your nightstand so you can't see that light. There should be no ambient light that can get into your eyeballs and stimulate your brain. That light will wake you up. It's important to eliminate all of it, okay? So, again, you can just use the eye shades if you need to. Want to make sure that when we are sleeping as well, that there isn't anything else around in the room that can wake us up. Some of you sleep with partners that snore or move around a lot. That's tough. Sometimes I recommend for patients who are really in deep with this sleep problem to go find a different bed just temporarily while you're recovering so you can really get as much sleep on your own as you need. That's important. Some of you sleep with pets, dogs, cats. Those are up and moving. They're constantly up and about, checking things out. I recommend you stop doing that, at least temporarily. You need your body to stay asleep. No stimulation, okay? And when things are moving around and crawling on you, nestling up to you, that's great. We all love that love. But right now we're talking about recovering from a condition. And to do so, you need sleep. That means consistent sleep, not waking up every hour because your cat is moving around, all right? So consider that as well. The other thing is cool temperatures, all right? If your room is too hot while you sleep, you're gonna wake up sweaty. So for many of you who are toxic, you're probably sweating at night, you're gonna need to get the temperature down to about 68 degrees, okay? For those of you who are, have a hypothyroid condition, you're not necessarily toxic, but you're not producing enough energy, and your body just stays cold, you may have to raise it higher than 68. But we want to make sure that the temperature of the room is cool enough so you're not waking up sweaty, all right? So consider that. The other thing we want to make sure is if there is any sort of noise going on, let's say you live in an apartment building or you just kind of live near a busy street, I recommend you get earplugs. And you put those earplugs in, they will help. We talked about making sure you have no stimulation to the eyes, no stimulation to the skin, but you also want to make sure there's no stimulation to your ears. Okay, so try earplugs if need be. Another thing that's important is near your bed, the head of your bed, you might have electrical outlets. For some of you that live in old houses, these electrical outlets actually produce a pretty good size current around that wire as it's running right past your head. That will stimulate your brain. So you need to really look at that. And if you have electrical outlets near your head, I recommend you very least don't plug anything into them. Just leave them alone. If it's a newer house, you're probably okay, but if you're in a house from like 1980 or older, there's probably some old wiring in there. I would recommend you have somebody take a look at that. There is a gentleman out of Raleigh, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but I will make sure that it is listed at the end of this particular video. He basically goes in and assesses where you sleep, what kind of EMFs, these electromagnetic frequencies around your bed. And if you do have some of these older wiring setups, he'll be able to tell you. And he'll say, you should get rid of this or get rid of that. And anyway, he's been great. He did that for our house. I've had him do that with a number of our patients. I know some functional medicine doctors across the country who have used him as well. He's awesome. So he can help you just go through and assess what needs to happen with that. We talked earlier about what I do in terms of an inversion table, right? I'm going about 45 degrees to the floor, letting that blood flow come out of my legs and into my torso, and just kind of letting my body stretch out before bed. There are some other options. If you have tight areas in your body, you can get one of those handheld percussor devices. They kind of vibrate and you can put them on the muscles. Let's say your hips are just tight and they give you trouble when you sleep. Get in there and work on those for about 5 minutes before bed, just kind of loosening all those muscles up. Get the buttocks, or if it's your back, have your spouse just kind of work on your back for about 5 minutes. Trade off. Do it for them. If they have it in their neck or they have it in the tops of their shoulders or their legs, do the same thing for them. But trade off this sort of percussive therapy. It helps promote better blood flow through these areas so you can sleep better and not wake up in pain. Want to make sure that you also consider certain supplements that help you sleep better. There are some that are designed to help just you sleep, and some that just help you to calm the nervous system down. So there's two different ones, and let's talk about what that looks like. For those of you who are under a lot of stress, you got to get your adrenals to calm down. So with stress, that's the fight or flight system, right? So your body has to get going, and they pretty much stay like this all day. Stress at work, stress while driving, stress with the kids, stress making food, stress paying bills, stress, whatever. It's all there, right? You got to get the body to calm down. But if the adrenal glands, which are kicking out what's called, not testosterone, adrenaline, when this adrenaline kicks up, then your adrenals begin to become fatigued over time. And what happens then is your body needs to recover during sleep. So the adrenal supplements that are out there, and we've got a few in our office that we really recommend, those can help you reset your adrenal glands from all that stress during the day, and it helps you sleep better. So that's one. Magnesium. About 45% of the population is deficient in magnesium. Magnesium is a nervous system calming device. It helps you bring your energy levels, your stress levels down so that you can actually sleep. So magnesium is really important. Melatonin is really important. Some people have also used 5-HTP. We use with some of our patients in our office. 5-HTP is the precursor to serotonin. That's the happy molecule, the peaceful, restful molecule. So melatonin or 5-HTP, either one, those can be very helpful. GABA derivatives. There are certain supplements out there that help promote GABA. It's another molecule in the brain that helps us be at peace and stay calm. So GABA is a good one too. You might need to take. The threonine from green tea, when I said earlier, no coffee after 2 p.m., I recommend no coffee at all. Green tea is a good thing to drink. It does have some caffeine, not as much during the day. Again, don't take it after 2 p.m., but the decaf green tea has threonine in it. Threonine helps calm the nervous system down. Some other herbs, ashwagandha, riodola, sorry, it's getting late. There's certain herbs like valerian root, passion flower, magnolia, lemon balm. For some of our patients, really helps is CBD. You can go as far as using THC. That's the active component in marijuana. But CBD oil is the marijuana without the psychoactive compound THC. So CBD is just the calming effect with marijuana. And so some of our patients just use that. It's just a tincture, a couple of drops in water or in your mouth, down the hatch. Sometimes that can be really helpful too. So consider sleep aids when you're talking about doing extra things to help you sleep at night. For some of you, you do not do enough during the day to be tired. You're not sleeping well at night because your body hasn't used enough calories, right? So you need to exercise, I guess is my point. What you need to make sure that you are getting daily exercise, at least 30 minutes of walking every day. Some of us wake up, the most you get walking is going to the shower and then to the kitchen and then to your car. And then maybe a little bit to your work once you get out of your car. And it's back home doing the same thing. Very little walking, very little exercise, very little output. You need to actually do some exercise during the day. Get your heart rate up so that way at night you're tired, okay? That's important. So generally 20 to 30 minutes a day of some vigorous walking is a great idea. Some people do what's called high interval intensive training. So it's basically 4 minutes of walking fast, 3 minutes of walking medium pace, 4 minutes walking fast, 3 minutes of walking medium pace, 4-3, 4-3. That's 28 minutes. 1 minute warm up, 1 minute cool down. That's 30 minutes. Just do that every day. And that will help you burn enough calories and make your body tired enough to sleep at night. I recommend that if you have the financial ability to do it, that you consider getting an Oura Ring or a Fitbit. There's also Sleepwatch on Apple, and for Androids, there's I think it's called Sleep Cycle. Basically, it just tracks your sleep. Obviously, you have it. There's a device that you wear. It just tracks what your body's doing as you sleep, and it can determine whether you wake up a lot. And you can use this to come to us and say, look, I got a problem. Sometimes we need to refer you out for a sleep study. Some of you have sleep apnea. You need to really use a device, a CPAP, to help get better oxygen into your system while you sleep. So usually if you need a CPAP, there's something else going on. In the short term, you use a CPAP. But in the long term, you fix what's going on. It might be you need to lose weight. It might be you need to change your diet. It might be you need to do the things we talked about prior in this video, right? Not eating 2 hours before you're sleeping, all that jazz, right? But in the short term, you might need to use a CPAP. So if we need to refer you for a sleep study, we'll do it. But sometimes it's good to have a device on you so you can really calculate how you're sleeping. You can determine if you're getting better. Doing these things are creating better sleep habits and better sleep results. The other thing you might want to consider, we talked about the negative purge diary. We talked about sitting in a room for 10 minutes prior to bed just to clear your head. But some of us have had some real trauma in our lives. And it's really hard to undo that when we're sleeping. Sometimes our sleep patterns just bring these old tapes up from a year ago, from a decade ago, from our childhood, right? Some of us I really recommend you see a therapist, or you can do what's called cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. Look it up on Google. Cognitive behavioral therapy just helps someone to overcome those mental patterns leading to insomnia. I think there's a couple books out on it. You can definitely read about it online and do some of this on your own. But you're going to need to break down those patterns, because you can't undo the mental trauma sometimes without asking for help. And so I want to mention that too. That's important as well. The last thing I want to mention regarding our sleep habits is napping. So if you're going to nap, it's totally fine, but no more than 20 to 30 minutes in the middle of the day. If you're doing more than that, you're going to screw up your sleep cycle, and it's going to be hard for you to get to sleep and stay asleep, or both. So make sure that if you do take a nap, no problem, no more than 30 minutes. Last thing, we're going to talk about sleep posture. Okay, we talk about having a good mattress. Let's assume that's all good. If you're a stomach sleeper, we need to have a talk, because stomach sleeping is one of the worst things you can do, particularly for the health of your neck, right? So if you sleep on your stomach, I'm going to grab this model here. This is a spine from the side, and this white set of vertebrae here, this is your neck, and from the side it looks like this, right? And it should be properly aligned like this. But if you look at it from behind, if this person is sleeping on their stomach, their head has to stay turned like this. And so you can see these vertebrae are not lined up properly for hours at a time. You do this day after week after month, you can really cause problems in your neck and end up with neck pain while you sleep. We got to break that habit, all right? So stop sleeping on your stomach. You can sleep on your side, and if you're sleeping on your side, I recommend you use a pillow that's high enough so that when you are on your side, that your head is in neutral, okay? So I know that this pillow works for me because I have this exact one on my bed. So if the pillow is too high, then it kind of pushes my head up this way, and now I've got this tilt in my neck, right? My neck needs to stay in neutral as I sleep. So have your spouse or somebody in your where you live look at yourself when you're sleeping on your pillow on your side, and make sure that your forehead, your chin, and the center of your chest are all in a proper line, here to here to here. Because if you're doing this, the pillow is too high. If the pillow is too low, your head is tilting this way, right? So there, my head's now tilting this way. That's not good either. That can also create problems with your neck. The other thing is, and this is kind of a cool pillow. This is one of those hollowed out pillows you've probably seen before. Maybe your chiropractor sells them, or you've seen one of your friends have them. It's hollowed out in the middle, but each side of the pillow is higher than the other. So for those people who are, small framed, they'll use this end right here because it works well. Some people who are bigger shoulder, they'll use this end right here, like I do. So that way you have that proper alignment. Anyway, once you're sleeping on your side, you want to make sure that you put a pillow between your knees if you're a side sleeper, right? Like this. This will also make sure that you keep your knees and your pelvis in alignment. Without that there, the top leg comes across and your pelvis twists this way, just a little bit. But day after week after month, you start to develop problems in your low back when you sleep. So what you do to counteract that, pillow, just take some crappy pillow that you've got that you don't really like. Just put it right between your knees, right? That keeps the knees level, hips level, so you can sleep on your side. Okay? Now, the way to sleep that's absolutely most optimal is sleeping on your back. So for those of you who are sleeping on your stomach, I'm going to recommend that you actually try to sleep on your back, and do so by using a leg support. It's going to create a little, take some load off your low back, right? So let's move these pillows off of here. You're sleeping on your back, you're going to put this underneath your knees, right? Now for me, I don't even use a pillow when I sleep on my back. I just take this out and I sleep like this, completely flat with this bent. It takes the pressure off your low back. If you don't have that, you sleep like that, it can be a little uncomfortable for some of you in your low back. This does it. You can find these soft, cushiony leg supports on Amazon. There's other sizes. There's some like that are this big for bigger people, longer legs. This is a great thing to use. You start in this position at night. If you can stay like this, this is the best. There's no pressure on your shoulders. There's no twisting of your neck. There's no weird altered position of your low back. You're sleeping in neutral. This is how we were supposed to sleep, okay? Just like this. So recommend you look into whatever you need, pillow-wise, leg support-wise, to make sure that you stay asleep and promote the best health for yourself because you're getting the proper rest at night. Yeah, that's a lot. Hope you took good notes. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. We also have, and I do have the information for the company that looks at those EMFs in and around your bed. It's called homeemftracing.com. And the owner is Andrew, and he's the one that I worked with. He's awesome. Great reviews from people all over the country. But again, I'll say that it's home, H-O-M-E, and the letters E-M-F tracing, Tracing.com. Go ahead and give him a call if you need to. Yeah, I'm also going to have this in a printable format. If you would like to have that, please let our staff know, and we can send that to you. And you can have that to kind of read through. There's a lot of information, so if you miss some stuff, go ahead and have my staff email that to you. Good luck with all of this. This makes a huge difference to one's health. It made a huge difference in my life. I'm sure it will for you too.